Governor Bill Weld, who is mounting a long-shot primary challenge to President Trump, and David McIntosh. He's the president of the Conservative Club for Growth, which spent money opposing candidate Trump in 2016, but now apparently plans to support him for re-election. I want to welcome both of you, Governor Weld, former Congressman McIntosh. Congressman, I want to start with you because this is what you said about not supporting candidate Trump back in 2016. You said, this year is different. This is when you guys were supporting Ted Cruz, because there is a vast gulf between the two leading Republican candidates on matters of economic liberty. Their records make clear that Ted Cruz is a consistent conservative who will fight to shrink the federal footprint, while Donald Trump would seek to remake government in his desired image. Some will read that quote, Congressman, and say, you know what? You were pretty prescient. Some will say that is exactly what Donald Trump has done.
And Chuck, we were supporting Ted Cruz then, and in the middle of the campaign, you mix it up. But what we base our current position on is the results. President Trump has governed as a free market conservative, cutting taxes, trying to get rid of Obamacare, deregulating the oil and energy industry, deregulating the internet, and it's working. The economy is still at 2.5–3% growth. That's a reversal from his predecessor. Unemployment, it's the lowest rate ever, and you see more and more people entering the workplace and getting higher paying jobs.
I want to follow up something you said. You said he's governed as a free market conservative. I'm just lifting this directly from your website. The costs of protectionism are largely borne not by some foreign country, but by American businesses, consumers, and taxpayers. This was based on your analysis, Club for Growth's analysis of what, for instance, tariffs on the steel industry would do. How can you say he's governed as a free market conservative when he has been issuing tariffs left and right?
And the trade is a difficult issue. You're right.
Your board struggling with this?
Yeah, the tariffs are a tax on the American people. They're a problem. I think you've got to step back. And in fact, what's going on at the G7, this is explained, same thing. It's the art of the deal. And what we like about President Trump's vision on trade is his goal of zero tariffs. We support that strongly. And I kind of have come to recognize these tariffs are his way of forcing the Chinese to come to the table. Yeah. They're costly, and we want them to go away, but he's using them to get to that ultimate goal of zero tariffs.
Governor Weld, you've been thought of as a very moderate Republican, but where you align with the Republican Party over the last couple of decades always was on fiscal issues. You just heard Congressman McIntosh make a case that the president is governing like a free market conservative. Is he governing like a free market conservative in your mind?
No, he's not a small government guy at all. We're spending more on interest on the deficit now than we are on national defense. Interest on the debt is the fourth largest item in the federal budget. They're spending money in Washington like drunken sailors. $1 trillion a year. Mr. Trump's last budget, admittedly a multi-year budget, but it added $9 trillion to the deficit. 3 days ago, it went up another $800 billion. That's almost another $1 trillion. You can't keep doing that indefinitely. Every household in the United States, every governor in the United States, as Mr. McIntosh knows, has to balance the budget by constitution or by necessity. And my motto when I was in office is there's no such thing as government money, there's only taxpayers' money. Well, they've forgotten that in Washington, led by the president, and they think it's their money, and it's not.
Well, Governor, though, let me play devil's advocate about the debt. Sure. There have been folks like yourself and others who have been talking about that if this debt keeps increasing, it's going to be a drag on the economy. It hasn't been a drag on the economy yet. Why?
Well, it's going to be a drag not just on the economy, but on our national security, because we're effectively relying on other countries to buy our treasury bills to get us out of this terrible deficit position we're in, or to forestall the United States going into bankruptcy. And that's economics 101. And so it's just very much against the economic interests of the American people to keep going in this direction, and everybody who thinks about it knows it. Furthermore, the president tacks, as you were pointing out earlier, on every single issue. In my view, it no longer matters what the president says, because that may be his first thought of the moment, or his first ramble, or his first raving. But you can be assured there will be a second thought, a third thought, and a fourth thought, all of which are going to be different from the first thought.
Congressman McIntosh, I remember during the Obama years, a lot of conservatives criticized the Obama administration because, hey, all these big ideas you guys are talking about, it's creating instability in the business community. how is what the president's doing not? I mean, it's clear the reason for the slowdown is the business community is suddenly nervous because they don't know how this trade war is going to turn out. Isn't this creating instability?
And as I mentioned earlier, the key to understanding this is reading Donald Trump's book, The Art of the Deal, where, yes, things are going to change. You get the, I want to be your friend, I want to work with you, Donald Trump, when he's trying to push towards a deal. When the deal breaks apart, you get the Donald Trump, I'm going to impose
What
tariffs.
deal has he gotten, though? Where has this worked? I mean, this Art of the Deal thing gets thrown out there a lot. Where has this actually worked? He doesn't have an infrastructure deal. He didn't get new health care. He doesn't have a new deal with China. It hadn't worked yet.
It worked on replacing NAFTA. And that was a successful. We had the steel tariffs and NAFTA. And the only thing blocking that is Nancy Pelosi and the Democrats in the House.
What did NAFTA? It's literally NAFTA 2.0. It didn't really change that much.
Oh, it's a better deal for the U.S. in the president's eyes, and it's an example of how the art of the deal worked. I think the key thing for Donald Trump is to show that he's got a vision for the second term and to continue with another round of tax cuts. He's deciding which way he wants to go on that. We're going to urge one that is for small businesses, to give the pass-throughs the same tax break the corporates guys.
Governor Weld, you're obviously challenging the president of the primary. You don't think he deserves renomination. If you don't get the nomination, does he deserve re-election?
Absolutely not. Let me just say, I think President Trump does have a vision for the second term, and it's what Steve Bannon, his political Robespierre, says. He says if President Trump is reelected, you're going to see 4 years of unadulterated, unrequited payback. Mr. Trump is going to pay back all his enemies. Pay back for what? It's another example of his extreme malignant narcissism. He's only happy when other people are losing. It's not enough for him to win. He makes sure his vendors get paid 5 and 10 cents on the dollar while he and his rich banker friends walk off with hundreds of millions of dollars. That's his reputation in New York and New Jersey as one of the most dishonest businessmen in the area.
Governor, you were the first Republican to jump in. A bunch of other Republicans are thinking about it. Any of these other Republicans would convince you to get out and support them?
Not me to get out, but I'm thrilled about Joe Walsh and Mark Sanford getting in. I think that's terrific, and it's going to be a more robust conversation. Who knows? The networks might even cover Republican primary debates. They can ill afford to say they cover only Democrats, but I'm looking forward to both those fellows getting in, and I hope more as well. It can only contribute to more robust dialogue, and that'll be good for the country. We need to assemble rational people. You know, sure, a crazed president makes the stock market go down, but that doesn't mean we have to like it.
All right. Well, Governor Weld, Congressman McIntosh, I think we showed that we can have disagreements without sounding disagreeable with each other. I thank you both for sharing your views this morning.
Thank you, Chuck. Good to be with you.
Later this hour, Mayor.
Hey, NBC News fans, thanks for checking out our YouTube channel. Subscribe by clicking on that button down here, and then click on any of the videos over here to watch the latest interviews, show highlights, and digital exclusives. Thanks for watching.